are crazier than ever. But I'm here. You're going to hear a lot of background noise, so I'll try and mute as much as I can.
Okay, I guess we can now officially call the meeting to order, and we have to do the pledge. Do we have a flag?
Let me see if I can pull mine up.
Okay. Okay, very good.
You see that? All right.
I guess we have to, it's always weird to stand up. You never know what to do, you know? You see everybody's belly button. I'll just go back here. Okay, I pledge allegiance to
the flag of the United States of America,
and to the republic
for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible,
with liberty and
justice for all.
The Zoom does not accommodate multiple audio very well.
No.
You know, different people are on slightly different delays, so it's very difficult to do that in sync. Okay. First order of business. Did you want to take the roll, do the roll call, Dawn?
Sure. Okay, Harold Kramer.
Here.
Kathy Nankin.
Here.
Sylvia Nichols.
Here.
Delina DeSena.
Here.
Hi. Beth Crowley.
Here.
Jody Heritage. And our guest, Tom Mork.
Hi.
And we haven't heard from Todd. Did I get everybody?
No, Terry Graham.
Oh, Terry. I'm sorry, Terry.
That's okay.
Terry Graham.
Okay. And our first order of business is to approve the minutes from the last meeting. Did everybody get a copy?
Yes.
Okay. Do we have a motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve the minutes of the last meeting.
Okay, Terry Graham makes a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
Second, Jody Heritage.
Thank
Okay,
you, Jody.
seconds. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I need to abstain. I was not there.
That's right.
That's right. Kathy or Delina?
That was Kathy.
Okay.
Okay.
The same applies for me. I also abstain.
Oh, Delina. Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Harold, it
Yes.
does say at the end of the minutes that our next meeting was Monday, October 19th, which was why I was messed up. So I just want to make that correction. That was,
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
okay, you're welcome.
Okay. Well, we have our guest at this meeting is Tom Mork. I asked Tom if he could speak a little bit about the Friends of the Library. He's the president of the Friends of the Library and what they're doing and how we might work together on anything. And Tom, I'm going to hand the Zoom floor over to you.
All right. Well, thank you.
Thank you for appearing here.
Oh, yes. So I've got a brief presentation. If I can share my screen, then you don't have to look at me. You can look at some graphics. So what I thought I could do today was talk a little bit about who we are and what we do and how we do it. It shouldn't be a surprise to most of you, but the Friends, for those that don't know, have been around since 1895. We're a nonprofit 501c3 organization. And basically what we do is provide funding for a lot of the library's programs. And then if they have special requests for equipment or services that aren't normally funded through their operational budget. So 90% of the programs that are put on at the library are funded by the Friends and not the operating budget. We fund the children's programs, we fund concerts, adult programs, museum passes, and movie licenses. And then we also contribute significantly towards the librarian's professional development. And in addition, we've got 2 scholarships for high school seniors that we award every year. So then once in a while, the library says, gosh, we really would like some new computer equipment or during the renovation, we funded some extra furniture. So if we have the funds, we're happy to provide for those needs also. If there are any questions, just yell. But so how we do that by raising money. And so our biggest contributors are our spring and our fall book sales. And then we've got the ongoing lobby book sales. And some people may not realize it, but we also sell a fair amount of textbooks and other unique books online through Bookscouter, and we sell to Amazon or through Amazon as an Amazon seller. Then the other major contributor to our funding are memberships. So we do an annual membership drive in the first of the year, send out, and we get individuals and families contributing, and some very generous donors kick in extra funds. We also have solicited businesses in town to see if they will provide assistance for the library's activities. And so we actively solicit for business memberships. And then there's also bequest and investments. We have a fairly sizable bequest that comes every year, and we have investments from previous savings that help our operating budget. And then periodically we get special gifts and memorial contributions that then we can offer to the library to help do memorial concerts and that kind of thing, or special books. How has COVID-19 affected us? Just like it's affected everybody. We shut down almost completely as soon as the library shut down. So our spring and our fall book sales this year were completely canceled. We're not accepting any book donations. We're not using volunteers to sort books or to do any programming at the library. There's no lobby sales and very limited online sales. We're hoping that things get better at the first of the year, and maybe we can start accepting donations again, and maybe we can have a spring book sale, but nobody can forecast what COVID's going to be like in 3 months, much less 3 weeks. So we'll have to play it by ear and see where we're going. Luckily, we had some very astute financial foresight and have a fairly healthy financial reserves that are seeing us through. We have been in contact with a lot of the other friends groups, and they are struggling. They don't have the reserves. They're very much funded month to month almost. And so as they can't provide the funds to the libraries can't do their programming. We have continued to offer the library funding for programs, and we will be funding our scholarships this year. Of course, obviously the library is not doing quite as many programs, and so their spending is down, but we're funding whatever they can do and are willing to do. We're hoping, like I said, to take book sales and donations when it's safe, but not sure when that's going to be. It takes a community to be successful, and we have the support of the community who's supporting the library through book donations, our volunteers who sort the books, our volunteers who help with the book sales, and I'm looking at several of them now. Our officers and committee chairs are key to their success, but it's all really easy to get people to help because they love our library and the programs that the library puts on and the high quality sessions and programs and training and offerings at the library are just phenomenal. And so that's really easy for us to be a support and to drum up support. That's all I had. Pretty simple. Any questions? As soon as I can get the mouse up here. Sorry. There.
Okay, let me unmute a little bit. I just want to, first of all, thank you for the presentation.
Sure.
And thank you on behalf, I think I'm speaking for all of us, on behalf of the Cheshire Public Library Advisory Board for the great work that the Friends do on behalf of the library. It's much appreciated.
Well, it's our pleasure. You know, we love the library and we love supporting the activities and the programs that they put on.
And I think the community appreciates the many programs. I've heard, you know, very nice compliments for the different programs that you put on.
And the book sale not only is a fundraiser, but it is also a community service.
It is, yeah. It's great to see old friends and reconnect.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
people want to make their books make a difference, and so they're happy to donate them to us to resale to raise money. So yeah.
How many members do the Friends have, more or less?
That's a great question. 380, I think.
Okay.
A lot.
Yeah, on a typical year. If there is,
Membership is always fluid as people renew and drop off and add, but about 380 is a pretty good number.
yeah, we had
the organization.
440 at the end of last year.
Oh.
So I was a little low. And 14 business members.
That's great.
Tom,
Yes.
are you considering any other type of fundraising other than the book sales at this point? Something maybe virtual or at a distance?
That's
Something
a good
online?
question. I've been in contact with other friends groups at other libraries, and they've done pop-up sales in the parking lots and some virtual bidding and things like that. Because a lot of our volunteers are in the high-risk category, we're not really anxious to put them at risk right now. And quite frankly, we don't need to. We have the financial reserves to ride this out. So we're taking the conservative approach right now and not pushing the envelope.
Mark.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Kathy, you want to unmute? Yeah. Oh, you're still muted, Kathy. There we go.
Again, pardon for the background noise. The fact that you've been able to, you know, with, as you said, fiscal foresight, you have a healthy, financial reserve. Is that going to impact, and you're going to be able to do the scholarships, which is great. How much of an impact is everything that's happened with COVID, you know, might have on the library and or the budget and things that they, you know, have depended on the Friends for? You know, will it be scaled back efforts or?
No, we have enough funds to continue at our funding level, even by skipping the 2 book sales this year. So we don't anticipate a decrease in the activity levels of funding for the library.
One of the things that the Friends have been extremely generous about funding is travel to national conferences, which is, you know, amazing and unique in my experience. And so we were able to go to the Public Library Association conference in Nashville, one of my last out of town trips before the shutdown. But those events are not happening during COVID. So there'll be money, you know, that's not going to be spent for the professional development as it has in the past.
Okay. Any other questions for Tom? Comments?
Thank you, Tom.
Yes,
Thank you,
thanks
Beth.
very much. Tom, you're welcome to stick around if you like.
Sure.
We'd be happy to have you.
Okay.
Let us know when your meetings occur. Maybe we can get someone to be the liaison
Sure.
and share information across the 2 organizations, because some of our purposes are allied.
Yep.
Okay, I see we have another guest with us who has floppy ears, you know, button nose.
Cute.
It's just one of three. There are two more at my feet, but this
Oh.
one happens to be the
Aw.
and they tend to join me at council meetings often. They don't offer any help at all, but
Oh. Moral support, I guess. Okay, treasurer's report is next. Terry?
I don't know, have we spent anything? So it would be the same as last month, or has there been any expenses this month?
We have just Dawn's fees, so we've spent $65. So we have about 1,180, I think. I sent you an email earlier, Terry. Maybe it didn't come through. But just out of 1,250, we've spent 65.
Okay.
Okay.
All set, Terry?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Communications, do we have any communications? Beth, Dawn? Okay.
Nope.
Report of the chair. Well, after the last meeting, where Beth talked about some of the things that were happening at the library, I decided, with Beth's approval, to write a letter to the Cheshire Herald. I wrote the letter up. I sent it around to some of you to look at. Beth approved it. It was about, I don't have it in front of me, it was about all the things that were happening at the library, that it was going to reopen the building, and that the downloads were increasing, and the many services that were offered. And before I sent it to the Herald, I posted it on the Cheshire Community Forum and Facebook, and we got 100 and something likes.
Wow.
And, you know, Tom spoke about how people like the library. There were so many positive comments about the library. You know, I love the library. The library is great. So I think that gave the library some great PR, and it didn't come from the library, which gives it a little more credibility. It came from the advisory board. John Rook ended up publishing it, I think, last week. And he told me he was very appreciative to have some letters to the editor that didn't involve political content, which was good. And Sylvia, I sent it over to Town Hall. I don't know if anything happened to it over there, as you requested. You're muted, by the way, so you got to go off mute.
puppies
Okay,
noise
there
out.
we go.
We have not had our November council meeting. It did not get read into the record of the last one, but I'm not sure if it missed the night of the meeting.
Right.
But it will be, and all of the counselors were given a copy of it, so they all saw it and read it. I don't know if anybody commented to you or not, but certainly they got copies of it.
So for a couple of paragraphs letters with some updates, we got a lot of good, not just PR, but good information disseminated about the library as well. And I think the library, I hope the staff liked it, because it got so much positive comment about the way the library is run. So congrats, Beth.
Well, thank you. And yes, I shared it with staff. We have an internal bulletin board that we share. We have a stories channel. So anytime we get kudos or have heartwarming stories about the library, we share them. So I shared that with staff, and everybody was very happy. And some are faithful followers of the forum. So they saw it. I think some of the likes came from the staff. So they were very appreciative of that, showing that the forum can be used for good as well as
Yes. Yeah.
so
Crazy stuff.
it means a lot. The words really do mean a lot, to be appreciated when you're working so hard under difficult situations and not in a way that any of us are really, trained to work or meant to work or want to work. We want to get back to normal, but it's nice to have that support. It was a really big boost for morale, I think. So thank you.
Good.
It means a lot.
Good. And I think when we get to new business, we could talk about what we can do this month, but we'll wait till new business for that one.
I thought it was a very good letter, and I think a lot of people probably haven't gotten the word what's open, what isn't, so I think that gave them a little information too.
Yeah.
To the general public.
And may I just add one comment, and I will bring it up for you during the new business portion of this meeting, but I have been a proponent for a while, and we're working as a council. We kind of got sidetracked with COVID, but to find a way to bring much more positive discussion about the library, the arts place, the senior center, the library board, even though it's not a town commission officially, it's a separate organization, but the organizations that contribute to making Cheshire the 28th best place to live in the country.
Right.
And we, so much of what we see online and on social media and so on is negative. We're trying to find positive ways to celebrate all the volunteers and the staff, the paid staff that makes it such a good town. So I have an idea to propose. Perhaps I didn't realize that was on your agenda tonight, but perhaps that would be, we'd like a little feedback from you as to the idea and whether you would approve of it and let us move forward with it.
Okay,
So,
and you want to take that up under new business?
well, wherever you want it.
Let's do Beth's report.
Yep.
And then we can go from there.
Perfect.
So since the last time I saw all of you, we have continued with our in-person hours and we've expanded them a little bit. So on October 3rd, that Saturday, we started allowing in-person visits. And again, it's for browsing, picking up holds, using the copier and fax machine. And then the following week, we added in-person visits on Mondays and Wednesdays. But on those days, evening in-person visits. So on those days, we eliminated the morning hours, and that is in order to keep the total number of times that we have to clean the high-touch services the same. So it's about 3 times per shift of in-person hours. And frankly, you know, particularly now as the cases are going up, to limit time in the library and exposure to what I feel is a safer level. So in case you lost the thread of that, Monday and Wednesdays, we have in-person hours from 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. And then Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, we have in-person hours from 10 to 4. And Saturdays, we're open to in-person 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. So it's about 33 hours a week. We're continuing to offer the grab and go, though, especially for patrons who are not comfortable coming into the library yet. We've had a number of people say that to us when they've gotten their hold notice that they're not ready to come in. They may be in a high-risk group and they're not comfortable. So we're continuing to offer that, although we reduced the hours of the service in order to also be able to accommodate the in-person services that we're now providing. So just to balance that out a little bit, we reduced those hours, but we are also still providing, if you want to print something out remotely, you can do that. We'll put that out. And I know that the children's room, and I've heard that the adult services are doing take and make crafts still. So I think the adult one's going to be new, so keep a lookout for that. And that's all going very well and being very well received. So October 8th, Governor Lamont rolled out phase 3. And in terms of what it meant for libraries, we were allowed to expand our capacity to 75%. However, the approach that we actually took was we figured out a total capacity of how many people could be in the library at the same time and stay 6 feet apart. So that number, that capacity, we're not going to increase it because that is the capacity that can be in the library at any one time and stay 6 feet apart. It's really 100% of the capacity with the social distancing, which I think sometimes gets left out of the governor's recommendations, that it does require the social distancing, not just 75% of what your building capacity would be. So we're not going to be increasing that, but in reality, we're only seeing about 50% of our regular hourly foot traffic. So we're about 30 visits per hour versus 60 visits per hour that we typically saw. And we have not yet reached our capacity limits in any of the areas of the library. So we haven't had to enforce any kind of waiting outside or waiting to come in. We're able to watch and keep an eye, and we've not hit that. I think people are still taking it slow, being cautious, and also because people are coming in and getting books and then heading out, it's turning over the traffic much more quickly than when we have a program or when the children would stay in class. So for future plans at this point, I had conversation with town management the week before last, and we're just going to hold steady for now with what we're doing as we see where things are going. We'll continue to monitor the situation as we have been. And then any changes, will be made with discussion with town management and possibly the health district. So, but I'm not really, foreseeing anything majorly expansive in the next few weeks or maybe even month. Let's see. But in terms of programming, all our programming remains virtual, as I mentioned last time, but we have restarted our usual fall slate of children's and teen programs now that we're out of summer. We can go back to our regular fall slate. And we're also continuing our adult programming. And I have to put a special plug in because on November 30th, we're having a very special presenter, Sylvia, our library liaison down there, who's going to be helping us decorate our homes for the holidays. And check out the description on the website because it's really cute and it sounds amazing. And I'm going to definitely have to sign up for that. So we thank Sylvia for that. And then I also wanted to give a shout out to the library and arts place staff who worked with town and Chamber of Commerce staff to coordinate and execute the wonderful scarecrow contest, which I'm sure you're all aware of. I think that's been a particularly bright spot during these challenging times. I think I saw comments, on the forum and elsewhere that, this just gave people a boost. People were calling us immediately for the map the day that it got announced. They wanted to drive around and see all the scarecrows. So I have to commend Deputy Director Deb Rutter and Arts Place Director Joan Pilarczyk for their work on this committee. A lot of time and effort went into it, and I think they pulled off an amazing feat considering there were well over 60 some participants in the very first year of something like this. I think that's kind of unheard of. So just a good shout out to them and for bringing some cheer during this fall. And that's all I have unless anybody has any questions.
I just wanted to comment, and I'm glad you brought up about the scarecrows because I know several people who didn't realize they missed the deadlines, but they still put their scarecrows up anyway. And especially with everything that's going on, I have seen, because I'm walking neighborhoods and stuff, more Halloween decorations, very, diverse, some scary, some funny. Scarecrows are almost a part of every single one of them. And it's what a great thing that this has been, I think, for Cheshire. I think it's really done a lot to lift everybody's spirits and, what a great job.
Yeah, I'm sure next year they're going to double their participation. People will be watching for it. So.
Well, first
Now,
time
this is something they can do social distancing. That's the nice part of it.
Yeah.
That's right.
You can ride around and look at the scarecrows, and you don't have to come in contact with anybody if you don't want to.
That's right.
First time I walked towards the library, I was going by Rite Aid, and I said, I wonder who's sitting on those benches in front of the library. And then as I got closer, I realized they were scarecrows.
Yes, my daughter and granddaughter, that's their favorite place to be, is the library. And they were so excited when it could open up, at Saturday hours, because Lily's is in school. And Sarah posted a couple of pictures of her behind the scarecrows at the library. So,
Great.
looking over their shoulders to see what books they were reading. So.
Okay. Any other questions for Beth? Well, thank you for the excellent report.
You're welcome.
So next we go to unfinished business. Is there anything unfinished business? Okay. Now we can go to new business. And Sylvia, if you'd like to present.
Oh, okay. Let me just start at the beginning. About a year ago, some of us on the council gathered to talk about the state of the council chambers and how they are in need of refreshing. The 4 paintings that are Norman Rockwell paintings, they're just a second, it's been a long day. They are what am I trying to say? They're okay, prints. That's the word. Simple word. They're prints, and they faded in the sunlight, and things are kind of dreary up there. So we approached Joanne Pilarczyk at Arts Place to see if the people there could come up with some suggestions and ideas of how we could improve the art presentation in that room for people who came to meetings and so forth. And they came up with several ideas and they were very good. And this was before COVID. And among them were suggestions about having a traveling art show or perhaps a photography exhibit, which could be mounted with historical spaces in Cheshire or featuring particular residents in Cheshire or whatever. And so we were talking about that. And then COVID came along and everything got put on the back burner and we closed down the town hall and nobody was in there and there were things that took precedence. So that whole idea has been regenerated. And in addition, since then, the Economic Development Committee is putting together a marketing plan to attract businesses and residents and a marketing piece for the town of Cheshire. So we nursed around a lot of things. And Joanne came to me a couple of weeks ago and said, how about this as an idea? And it would be involving the town departments that had to do with probably Park and Rec, Senior Center, Library, Arts Place, and have each one of those departments produce one of those canvases, if you can picture them, that are wrapped. They look like a canvas, but it's a photograph that's wrapped around a canvas of a particular size. That might be one or two or three of them that would focus on some of the activities and the projects and the offerings of those particular departments. Maybe behind the scenes of what you do at the library, maybe a photograph of the book sale, maybe some things that we could then make a feature of that town department for some period of time. Now, again, nothing is finalized. We're trying to see if there's any interest in doing this. The photographs would then be produced within your library budget or senior center budget or the Friends of the Library, if that's a place they might fund it. And they would become your property, which you could then display in the library if you wanted to, or at any other event sponsored by the library. And it would be the opportunity to sort of sing your praises, the staff and the offerings that you do, the pool, what goes on at the pool, pictures of the pool, pictures of the sports teams. And then the idea grew to include sports teams or nonprofit organizations. So one time it might be the Land Trust, or it might be a sports league for the kids, or it might be the Lions Club or the Rotary Club or whatever, to be able to put some pictures up, which would be singing our praises. We're a darn good community. We have a lot of people who volunteer. Maybe it's focused on individuals who are volunteers, but it would be something that each department would be asked to present something for a particular period of time. My question to you is, before we bring this general idea to the council for approval, I wanted to get you thinking if you thought that might have some interest to the library, and if you had any questions, so you can be thinking about it and send them to me if you have any ideas, or if you think it's a silly idea. So that's basically where we are at this point. We just want people to know that you're there. And for those people who go to the library all the time, they're familiar with what you do. But sad to say, a lot of people also on our town council, perhaps, that don't come to the library very often. So we want to get the word out about the things that are going on in these wonderful organizations all around town. And that seemed to be a way to do that. So I look for your suggestions about that, or responses to that idea. Jody, what do you think?
I think it's a great idea. Yeah, no, I think it's a great idea. Joanne Pilarczyk has a vast storage space for great ideas. But, you know, what a great way to market the library. What a great way to show what's happening in town, and even with the Friends. I mean, because when we get past COVID and I think of those book sales, those are amazing. Mm-hmm. And I just think it would be a great, and I know, you know, the canvas, depending on how big you want them, they're expensive. They really aren't that expensive to do with a great photograph. So I think that would be really fun. Yeah. Love it.
Anybody else? Here's a question. In the town council chambers or downstairs in the lobby of the town hall?
Both.
If they're easily reproduced. Why not do both?
Yeah, you could do both.
Yeah.
And I
Because,
would add a few other distribution components besides,
Okay.
as some people just don't go into town hall.
Right?
You could take it and put it on Facebook.
Right,
Uh,
social media.
There are other distribution media to get the word out. That's what I try and think about a little more. What are people? Cheshire's always been a very tough media market to hit. We're so divided.
Right.
That maybe something on Cox Public Access.
Mhm.
So I think it's a good idea. I think people don't know what a lot of these organizations do.
Public access piece is a good way. And now that we've all gotten used to Zoom meetings and things, perhaps the library could put an evening program almost and show your photographs and have the people that were involved in that particular set of photographs talk about it. And it would be your job to do that. We just schedule you a time and say, okay, kids, do your thing.
Sylvia,
and
That'd be great.
I think too, the more we talked, we thought it's those kinds of places, but what do you all know about the sewer plant? You know that all your sewage disappears, but you really don't know what goes on there. And you maybe don't know what the Public Works Department does at the garage and how many vehicles they repair and all of that kind of thing. And that's where your tax dollars are going.
Yeah.
So couldn't we put together a campaign that featured all of those people that work for us as paid town employees and volunteers that help those things happen? The dog park is another one. I mean, they aren't necessarily all town run programs, but I think each one of the groups that provides their information could then take that information and use it as a marketing campaign in their own way as well. So that's kind of where we're at.
Sylvia, I just have a suggestion.
Sure.
That if we take this and move forward on the idea that maybe Joanne or someone at our place, probably Joanne, could come up with a photographer that would volunteer some time, because I would just want to make sure that what we're displaying is of high quality.
Okay.
And kind of comes together, and somebody that could say, this makes sense to do this photo shoot. This doesn't make sense. This would not come out right.
Right.
So for us to just go and take pictures, to me, doesn't make sense.
Okay.
It'd be nice to have someone who could, give it some continuity within the groups.
Yep.
And I don't think the library wants to be with the sewage. Just put us anywhere other
Can I add something?
Sure.
Clem from Bazzuto's is helping with the EDC marketing program.
Right. And
So-
they're doing fabulous videos on
Right.
the same idea right now. But one of the things we have to be careful about, and
You don't want to stretch people too thin, right?
right, but the other thing is there is a fine line, and this is something we will have to research from the town. How much can we promote businesses? So we may have to let the Chamber of Commerce take the piece that features a particular business. We talked about maybe doing all garden center nurseries, all grocery stores, but if we miss somebody, we're in trouble. So we can't do that. We can in the Cheshire controlled town things, and 501(c) corporations like your library, Friends of the Library, and other nonprofits are a different story, but we have to be careful about that fine line between
Right.
promoting one and missing somebody. Then we get into difficulty, but the chamber could work with us to do that. And those things that they're doing, the visits to the various stores and places are excellent, and similar kind of thing. So
as well as being careful about putting children and people in photographs. You have to be really careful.
yeah, you have to have permission and all of
Need a
that.
release. Yep. Sylvia, I'm on the Middlesex Community College broadcast media program. They're always looking for projects like this. I'll send you an email with the person, if you want, can talk to you about maybe getting
Wonderful.
some of their really amazing students to help with this.
Oh,
They're always
good.
looking for things.
Perfect.
We haven't had an advisory board meeting in a long time since COVID, but I talk to the head of the program all the time. So
Okay.
I'll connect you with Rich.
Okay, that would be wonderful. And so we just want to get a sense before Joanne's working up a specific proposal about
Mhm.
sizes and approximately costs and all of that. We haven't gotten that far yet. This is sort of just a basic idea to start
Research
with.
phase.
So, thank you. So anybody say, oh, no, it's silly? No? Okay,
Good idea.
good.
Nope.
Thanks.
Can there be like an introduction that it's coming, down the pike on the, doesn't town hall have a flat screen?
In the lobby?
Yeah,
How many times do we go through there? Beth, is there a flat screen in the lobby? I don't think
I
so.
don't think so.
I don't think so.
No, but maybe that's part of this. Maybe we do it as a slideshow and not an actual printed thing. Maybe we work up something that's just, visual that way.
What about the screen that's in front of the youth center there? I don't know how much you could put up on that. The one in
there's
front of
like
the high school.
Oh, you mean to just announce that this whole thing is
Right.
happening?
yeah.
Yeah, because you can't put photographs there. But yeah, all these are ideas that we can think. And I think probably realistically, this isn't going to start happening until well after the holidays. I mean, we need to get through Christmas and, all the things that come up. So it's a project that probably would begin sometime in the spring or early spring, March, if we can get out and have, a little freedom.
Yeah.
When
Hopefully.
when Joanne mentioned this idea to me before I went on vacation, I really liked the idea of having the prints, particularly in the council chambers. And I think the reason for that is because when we're working for the taxpayers and we're working for our residents, which we all do, sometimes it's easy to forget why. And as you touched on, Sylvia, to have those pictures sort of surrounding you as you're making decisions about what's in the best interest of the town, whether it's budgetary, whether it's policy. I think that, that just kind of reminds you can turn around and look and say, oh yeah, the children or we need this service, so our residents are comfortable and happy and have, great roads and streets and things like that. So I really like the idea of the real prints, being up and around to remind everybody, even the staff as you walk by, like, that's why we're here. Help is to serve our community. I will also say that one of the most interesting tours I ever took when I was an employee in Groton was of the wastewater treatment plant. So if you ever get a chance
Right.
to do it,
Yeah.
It is. It's fascinating. Really. So there are things like that we don't see and we don't know what happens, but that's where a lot of your money goes. So probably would be good.
Well, I don't know if any of you saw that John Oliver thing. Got a lot of publicity about the sewage plant in Danbury.
Right.
Because he criticized Danbury, and they made a big thing out of it, and they actually got money from it.
Right. So,
they named the plant after John Oliver.
And people, we all complain because our tree stumps aren't picked up and our trash isn't picked up and our streets aren't plowed. But if you could see the things that go into, we predicting snow on Friday. Does the Public Works Department put plows on plow blades on their dump trucks on Friday before they pick up the leaves, because the leaves still need to be picked up. So all of those things happen in those departments that we don't see. So interesting. Thank you. That's good feedback. And I will sort of keep you apprised as something happens. And Harold, I think it would be great to have some feedback from some people who are interested in that.
Okay, great. Well, thank you, Sylvia.
Thank you.
It would also give some of these employees some recognition, because
Right.
you kind of know they're there, but you don't really ever they come and do things, and sometimes you don't even see them.
So,
But it just gets done.
good. Thank you. That's good feedback. We will keep
Okay.
on. Okay.
Okay, we've had a couple of very good presentations tonight. Any other new business? I have two things I'd like to just mention quickly. One is, Beth and group, do you think I should put out another update? Do we have enough information to write another short letter, post it up on the community forum? The last one, I think, helped a lot of people. I just don't want to repeat what I said. So
I would say let's wait a little bit till we have a little bit more substantial things
Okay,
going on. Yeah.
okay, that's fine. We don't want to just, be redundant in what we're saying. And also, I think I'm going to think about getting a speaker for our next meeting. Tom, we'll put you on the invite list. And I know your meetings are publicized on the library letters, so I'll make an effort, or one of us will make an effort to attend if we can, but we'll put you on our invite list. This is a public meeting, and you're certainly welcome to attend, and we appreciate your input.
Thank you. Yeah.
But I'll talk to Beth maybe and do some thinking and see if we get a speaker for the next meeting. With Zoom meetings, we could get a speaker in Australia if we wanted to, if we could get the times lined up, because they don't have to be physically present at the library or indeed in Cheshire. So we'll give it some thought and see who we could get. I'm just looking at the agenda here. Is there any other new business? Okay, then we can have a motion for adjournment.
Harold,
Okay.
real quick, under old business maybe, did we have, or Beth, did you give any other thought how we could honor Joy Hostage at the library?
Yeah.
Oh, good point.
So
Yes.
we haven't really talked about it. I guess I was waiting to see what the board was thinking, and also with the Friends. I think maybe there needs to be some coordination.
Yeah,
We received a couple of donations, but I know they directed donations also to the Friends. So I don't know if that should be a bigger conversation between the two groups, or how you want to handle that.
Yeah, I don't have an update on what kind of donations we got yet. I'll have to check.
did the family make any suggestions as to how they wanted the contributions to be spent, or are we going to be able to have those conversations ourselves?
They did not. They just indicated in the obituary that they could donate to the Friends of the Library.
Okay.
But what we have done, what we did for Arthur Hostage was a program series that Joy was very happy about to have done. So, we could do something similar. That would be one suggestion, or combine and do an Arthur and Joy Hostage series.
Okay.
Where we do, something that would be in their interests. That's a little bit easier than trying to buy something that is a plaque or a bench or a sculpture for the garden, because those things they're nice, but sometimes it's hard to find really the most appropriate thing, and after a while it's not there anymore.
Right.
And I know Joy was very much for bringing programs to people, so something that everyone could enjoy and get a lot out of, rather than maybe just something that some people would just walk by and never notice.
Right. And maybe, and Beth, maybe just you could share with us some costs that might be involved, and when we figure out how much the contributions amounted to, maybe if we could continue it for a few years and just not like a one-shot deal.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. We did that in my library in Madison when one of our longtime board presidents passed away, and we did it quarterly, so it was every 3 months we did a program based on one of his interests.
Great, that's a great
and then
idea.
It was funded. People made donations to it every year, and we were able to continue it for a few years. So that was really nice.
Okay.
And his widow came and spoke at each one, and it was just kind of a nice family thing.
Any other comments, suggestions, questions?
Name
Okay.
a room after them, both.
That's an idea too.
Yeah. It's hard to establish, having gone through that with other nonprofits I've worked with, it's hard to establish a value on something like that. And then
To name a room after somebody?
yeah. And it really is.
I don't understand, because wouldn't it just be a matter of like, I don't know how it is politically or if that has anything to do with it, but isn't it just a matter of like, having like a plaque made for the entry to the room, and, you know, possibly getting a small group together for like a dedication?
Well,
Or am I
usually,
totally not getting it?
yeah, usually it gets more complicated than that.
Yeah,
Okay.
if it's a town building that you're naming something, there's definitely a naming process
Yeah.
Right,
that's
okay.
delineated in the town charter and all of that. So
Oh, okay, yeah, so
yes, you
there's a lot
can, but it's complicated.
more
I don't know
complicated.
I don't know if that covers an individual room in the library, but I
Yeah.
certainly
Okay.
know that if there's parts of the trail or parts of a building or a bridge or anything like that, there's a definite naming.
Or how about, do they around, see, I don't live in Cheshire, I live in Bristol, so, does Cheshire have around town like those little book boxes? You know, where you go and you can take a book?
They have a few.
Yeah.
So could they like do something like that and, like, you know, name it after Joy and Arthur? Because the reason why I'm asking is because we did that at our church for a woman who was a member, and also she was the librarian for the New Britain Public Library. So our church erected one of those little boxes in honor of Jane Watershoot, who was the librarian and the member of our church.
Well, as Sylvia said, we'll have to research how you do it in town.
Right,
And like I said, having worked with other nonprofits, this gets a little complicated.
right,
You know, when do you put the box up? When do you take it down? Who maintains it?
right. Mhm.
There's a lot of questions always involved in what seems to be a simple transaction.
Mhm.
Um,
Well, just
but
ideas.
we'll
that I
figure
have.
something out
Yeah,
to honor Joy for the great work she did with the library. We'll just have to get the appropriate, for lack of a better word, vehicle to do it with.
right.
Any other questions or comments before we adjourn? Does anyone want to make the motion that cannot be debated? Non-debatable
I
motion
so move.
under Robert's rules. So we have a second.
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, well, thanks to all of you.
Thank you,
And-
Harold.
Thank you, Harold.
Thanks,
Thank you, Harold.
Again,
Thank you,
my
Tom.
apologies for being
Well,
up
thank
and
you all
down so
for
much
your
during the meeting.
contributions. Thanks, Tom, again for joining us.
Thank you.
Beth?
Yeah.